Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Fonzone, I'm not sure I would agree with my colleague, Senator Whitehouse, that the Office of Legal Counsel has been ever the high temple of jurisprudence. But I'd just like to ask you if there is ever any attempt to shape or interfere with your judgments as head of the Office of Legal Counsel, will you disclose those efforts to this committee?
Senator, I think it's incredibly important the Office of Legal Counsel gives frank and independent advice. I know the President and the Attorney General share that view. I don't know if I could say here today, because there might be confidences in terms of things that are given disclosed to me, but if I was confirmed, I would resist any effort to put undue pressure on the office and make sure that any advice I gave was free of any policy preferences.
You'd not only resist, but you'd object and reject any efforts to impose pressure. I don't know what undue pressure would be, but any pressure, because above all else, the Office of Legal Counsel is supposed to be independent, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Ms. Russell, welcome to the committee. Thanks for your service. Your life has been really dominated by a career of public service, and I won't go into all that you've done, but I think one aspect that particularly has impressed me is your work on behalf of veterans and others who all too often are voiceless or vulnerable in our system, often overlooked. Could you describe perhaps some of what you've done on behalf of veterans at the clinic, not only at Quinnipiac, but also the Yale Law School?
Thank you, Senator. So it has been my privilege to work with veterans, and our clinic at Quinnipiac receives referrals from the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. And so on a number of occasions, we have taken cases and had the opportunity to represent veterans. Some examples involve cases involving child support issues or other family law issues. And it's been a terrific opportunity for the students to get to work closely with clients. These are often people suffering from disabilities, sometimes people who've experienced homelessness and other challenges. For the students to get to work firsthand and represent a client, get to go to court, stand next to the client and speak on their behalf in court has been an incredible experience for me as a teacher, as I teach students to be competent and ethical lawyers. And the clients have been really appreciative of the time that we've been able to devote to their cases. I have also had students who are veterans themselves. And so one student had the opportunity to do a trial we had in federal court in a case. And so I got to see him for the first time become a lawyer in court, cross-examining witnesses and helping to put on the case. And I also had the opportunity to work with him as a student in preparing testimony related to a veterans law issue for the Connecticut General Assembly. So all those have been wonderful experiences in our clinic to serve the public in different ways.
I might just say, coincidentally, a number of us met this morning with various veteran service organizations, including Allison Jaslow of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans Organization. She particularly cited the work of these clinics in helping many of her veterans. And, you know, you have served on the court's grievance committee. Chief Judge of the District of Connecticut appointed you to serve on that body. The Chief Justice of the Connecticut Supreme Court appointed you to serve on the Judicial Branch's Committee on Judicial Ethics. Two of our governors have appointed you to serve on the Sentencing Commission. You've been on the advisory board of the town of Hamden's Juvenile Review Board. So in many different capacities, you've led a life of public service. I want to just anticipate maybe one of the questions that will be asked by some of my colleagues. You served on the Sentencing Commission with prosecutors, law enforcement officers, and victims advocates, and a number of recommendations were made, some of them dealing with the sex offender registry in Connecticut. I am very familiar with the sex offender registry because I defended sex offender registration laws before the United States Supreme Court. I argued the case. We won it. Laws were upheld. This modification to the sex offender registry was made by that commission to bring it into line with other state statutes, as I understand it, correct?
Thank you, Senator. So there was a proposal developed by individuals on the Connecticut Sentencing Commission, which include victim advocates, prosecutors, police chiefs, and others, to move to a risk-based system from an offense-based system. So I was involved as a member of the commission in developing that proposal.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.